Hello and welcome to Q Today for March the 16th to the 20th. I'm Ron Campbell, one of your hosts for today's show.
And I'm your other host, Mitch Vik.
Well, welcome, Mitch, to the Bear Pit. I must say this, though, you're not as good looking as my previous co-host. She's off throwing curling rocks, trying to bring back a title to BC here. But I do have a complaint against our producer, Mr. Bello. He keeps bringing in people that are better looking than me. So I'm going to speak to him about that.
We should, yeah. That's a difficult situation. I understand.
It's my turn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, that's all right. When I want to quit talking, I'll hit you.
Okay, fair enough.
Just a reminder for our viewers that our weekday show runs from Tuesday at 5 p.m. To Friday at 8 a.m. and the weekend offering airs from Friday to 5 p.m., Tuesday at 8 a.m., and we broadcast every day at 8 a.m., 5 p.m., and 10 p.m. Mitch.
Perfect. Before we get into the news, we also want to remind you that we are accepting sponsors for the program. You can reach us by our new email at qtoday@qcatv.ca. And as always, we broadcast, and as always, thanks to the Quesnel Caribou Observer for providing some of our news stories.
And remember on Q Today that we just hit the highlights. If you want the full story, please purchase a Quesnel Caribou Observer. And you're up to the news.
Okay, first up, everyone may be aware the Gill and Van Dyke trial began in Quesnel Supreme Court this past Monday. Both men have been charged with a number of offenses, including breaking and entering, assault, and aggravated assault, and using a firearm after an incident on September 5th, 2009. The victim in this case was able to escape after receiving 2 gunshot wounds in the arm. The 2 men are standing trial this week and next, and we'll keep you posted here on Q Today for any developments in the case.
It doesn't matter where you live, violence and crime seem to be there.
Absolutely, we're not immune.
Yes, but fortunately we don't have as much here as some other big cities.
Absolutely.
Mitch, I'm going to have to start off by saying, it is still winter out there. Occasionally in the mornings it's cold, and why I say that is proven by the latest driver who was unable to negotiate the Johnson Loop near the railway underpass. A female driver launched her vehicle over the guardrail into the Quesnel River, and luckily the driver was able to escape. And later on, the car was removed. It ended up on some debris in the river. Therefore, she was able to get away. Later on, a tow truck came by and removed the car from the river area, but the side railing along the sidewalk there is all broken up and so forth. So once again, viewers, please drive carefully, slow down.
Absolutely. Next, we have an interactive forum going on in Quesnel, and it's called One in Herself, and it's set for March 25th from 9 to 4. The forum is an opportunity to explore feminine consciousness through the power of personal story, including discussion and revelations by motivational speaker Beverly Morningstar McNeil. This forum was Diane Tharp's inspiration, stemming from her company's work, Ayami International, an alternative approach to emotional wellness. Tharp believes it's time for women to understand their places as leaders and discover their authentic self. Tickets for the forum are $60 each, which includes lunch. If you want more information about this, you can give Diane a shout, and she can be reached at 250-747-0760.
Yes, women are no longer just behind aprons and cooking meals.
No, sir.
They're out there and they're leaders in our community.
Absolutely.
Labordy Park may soon be home to a firefighters memorial monument. The design is local, and the committee of 6 departments is committed to using local builders and suppliers. And according to retired Captain Pat Myers, if the community can come through with $132,000, these donations can be made to any firefighter. It can be dropped off at Fire Hall number 1, which is downtown Quesnel. between 8 a.m. and noon, or you can call 250-747-2118, or you can mail to the Quesnel Volunteer Fire Department, 310 Kinchin Street, Quesnel, BC, V2J2R4. This memorial is to recognize our volunteer firefighters who give of their time to provide firefighting services for us. Fortunately, our area has not had any fatalities as in some other areas. So if you wish to put a donation to that, I've indicated to who you can contact. Over to you, Mitch.
Thanks, Ron. And today, some of you may know, Bill 22 is being voted on in the legislature in Victoria. In all likelihood, this will become law by the end of today. As we know, Bill 22 will give Education Minister George Abbott the authority to appoint a mediator and restrict any mediated settlement to be within the net zero wage mandate imposed across the public sector negotiations in 2010. The bill also imposes new restrictions on class size and special needs support. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and just see how that transpires.
You may recall, Mitch, that I had a rumblings against unions in particular. But one thing I can't see is any time a right is being taken away from any individual, that is not correct. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's problems on both sides, government and teachers. Mm-hmm. And maybe this is one way to get the parties back at the table, although the method is a little questionable.
Yeah, certainly a complicated issue.
And I'm glad I don't have to do anything on it except pay my taxes, of course. Politics are not necessarily a sport, but that's our next news item. There are 23 clubs from Kitimat to Williams Lake gathered in Quesnel to move to the next level in figure skating. Quesnel skaters did quite well. The Quesnel Figure Skating Club won the team aggregate trophy. This is the third year running. Cassandra Greenwood won the senior bronze lady free skate, and she also won the silver interpretive skate. Carmen Hung took the silver in juniors and ladies free skate. Olive Marlowe holds championships title in pre-novice free skate, and Selena Van Oort was a championship title in gold interpretive. Figure skating is one thing I'm not that familiar with, but it's excellent to watch, especially on TV and especially locally here.
The skills are amazing, for sure.
Aren't they?
Continue with our sports. We're proud to report here at Q today that some young skiers from the Quesnel area took top honors at the recent Purdon Mountain Festival. Over the three events, which were dual slalom, speed traps, and distance racing, we had Tanner Hewitt, Noah Woolens, and Emma Klepetchuk had first place finishes in their division. Kara Koschar, Samantha Lawler, Gavin Hewitt, and Brendan Koschar had second place finishes. Aubrey Lawler placed third in her division, and I want to congratulate all the participants at this event.
We certainly have a lot of good athletes in this area. Huh?
It's fantastic.
And especially from drawing on a small populace. I think it's marvelous. Sharon MacDonald has joined Q today as a correspondent for Legion News. You may know that Sharon is vice president of the organization. If you didn't, you know now. And here is Nate in conversation with Sharon MacDonald.
Okay, thanks very much, Mitch. Welcome to the show, and Ron. I'm here with Sharon MacDonald, Sharon LaMontagne MacDonald.
Very good.
How are you?
I'm pleased to meet you.
Thanks. You're here because you're the vice president of the Legion this year, is that right?
I am.
Right, good. And before we get into things about the Legion, just want to talk a little bit about you guys. You have about you personally. You have the distinction of being a wife of a former editor of the Quesnel Caribou Observer and the mother of the current editor of the
I know. I am so blessed.
Yes, and so you actually write an article for the Observer.
I do actually on behalf of Branch 94. I write Legion Lines, so it's usually in the Friday edition. You can look for it in the Weekender. Mm-hmm. They've been very generous with their time. It helps that my daughter's the editor. You're right.
Yeah, well, everybody's really interested in the Legion, and the Legion is so important in our community. And in some ways, it's almost a motherhood issue to say we love the Legion, But can we get? I'd like to get your opinion a little bit more about why actually the in Canada the Legion is so important.
Of course, we've got returning veterans from current wars, and people think of the Legion as being, war-related, and it was formed right after the First World War. We've had a Legion in Quesnel since 1917, and Mr. Gook was the Legion president for 10 years.
Peter Cook?
You're going to call me on
Or
that.
maybe Peter Cook's father?
No, I'm
It was
sure it
after
would have
World
been.
War One.
Yes, that is fascinating to me. We had, who was it? It was E.J. Gook.
Oh, so it's a Gook family, I'm sure, because they've been here forever.
They have, so that's fascinating. And since then, the Legion has become community-based. All our monies that we raise, of course, from the Poppy Fund, go towards veterans, helping veterans and veteran families in town. But all our money from gaming, from meat draw, all the money that we raise that we can't use towards the operation of the Legion, all go to the youth in the community. So anyone can apply, whether you're an archery candidate that's going, somewhere for a competition, or you're a dance student, or you're into the arts. Anyone can apply. Schools have applied. We support one of the local schools. We support the Salvation Army. There's a lot of events that we participate in, and we try to be very community-based, but relevant, so that the works that we're doing matter to people. And it's hard with the Legion. We have an aging population, and although we have 618 members right now, we don't have a very active Legion base, and that's what we need. So what we're trying to work on right now is to make the Legion a little more current, a little more accessible, and with memberships now anyone can apply. Before you had to have that relationship with the armed forces or RCMP, and now you don't. Any person can apply. You pay your fee and you go through an initiation process, and you're in as an active, full voting member. So it's very, very important that if we want the Legion to continue, that people not only become members, that they become an active member as well.
So when they're becoming a member, would you see what would be the reason for joining? Why did you join the Legion? Because of all these good works, or?
Well, I wish I could say that was the case, but no, it wasn't. I was dancing at the Legion with the Highland Braveheart Highland Dancers, so that's an adult group, and my husband was involved with the pipe band. So
Alan Payette.
So I thought that if you're going to use the facilities, then the least you can do is become a member. And at the time too, they were starving for members, so we became a part of it. I think that I try to emphasize too that this is really, it is a private club, a private organization. It is open to the public, and once you become a member, you have full access to everything that goes on there. But it is a private, and there's a lot of old customs that it's very kind of cool to see if you see a young member coming in. My children are also members, so Marty being the youngest, would come in, and if he happened to come from work with a ball cap on, it doesn't take long before someone's tapping him on the shoulder and saying,
I did that.
I know.
I did the other day. I went in there, forgot to take my hat off.
And isn't that lovely? I mean, isn't that great? I mean, if we could have our schools, and I mean, you can't walk into church with a hat on, and it's the older veterans that are there are pretty proud of the establishment and pretty quick to remind you that those aren't the rules that apply.
So it's kind of, in a way, it kind of helps us with our civil society in a way that we're not that rough and boisterous. We kind of have a certain decorum.
Well, there's a little bit of refinement, yes, and that's good for all of us.
So you know, you mentioned, you know, the Legion members are aging, and sometimes, and especially I remember this a few years ago when I was in political office, that sometimes it seemed that the Legion would have some financial difficulties, and one reason is because they could raise money, but they have to give all the money they raise.
Yes.
And so to actually maintain that facility is difficult at sometimes. Is that a major problem now?
It is still a major problem. The only money that we can use at the Legion for operating is from holding special events. So, you know, if you're talking the Friday night barbecue or karaoke night or you know, St. Patrick's Day or any of the home show that's coming up, the lifestyle show that's coming up, Billy Barker Days, all of those are our major events. If we don't raise enough money out of those events, we're running in the red.
Right. So
Anything else that we raise, like you said, any lottery monies, poppy monies, any gaming, meat draw, none of that we can use for operating. We have to give that back to the community, which is great. I mean, it's a community-based organization, and you want to do your bit, but you still have to have enough money to operate. And right now, and I'm sure that a lot of the local drinking establishments are facing the same problem, is that people aren't going out as much to drinking establishments with the liquor laws being so tight and driving, et cetera, as they should be. Liquor sales are down, so people aren't coming, and so you have to have something else to offer them. You know, we hold teenager classes, Zumba classes, dance classes. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's darts, there's band, there's, you know, every time you're there, there's something more that the Legion has to offer. And if you read Legion lines every week, you'll know exactly what's going on.
the Legion lines, right? We've
Yes.
got that. It's, every week you do?
Every week,
Okay,
every Friday.
good. Okay, so then basically the Legion builds community then.
That's our main purpose, yes. I mean, we are a support system for returning veterans and for widows and et cetera, and very, very important, vital role. But we are, if we are to continue to exist, it has to be an integral part of the community. It has to be as a serving part of the community.
Well, what can people do then to help the Legion?
Become a member. Become a member and become active. Like I said, right now membership is open to the public, so it's very, very easy to become a member. And once you are a member, attend the meetings. Find out what it is that you can do to help. There's always things that are going on. And there's help in all areas. I know that there's a very, very active part of the community that services the Legions at all times. When we have the Poppy campaign, Lil Anderson has been in charge of that for years. She has an incredible group of very loyal volunteers. And I mean, we're talking hundreds. You know, she's got a lot of people that come out and help. So there are people in the community that we just need more of it. We need to know that when we're, you know, you hold an event like the lifestyle shows, which is formerly known as the home show, coming up in May, we need to have the support of the community to come out and buy the booths, which are very reasonably priced. And that operating money actually pushes us right through the summer.
So that's a major.
Major. The next major is Billy Barker Days. And that major money pushes us through to the fall. And then we've got memberships again. So all of these major events, we rely totally on them for operating expenses.
Well, because you just mentioned it, I just want to go a little bit into the lifestyle event, which used to be the Home and Garden.
Yes.
So it's called Lifestyle, and is there a reason for the change in name? Or?
Well, last year it was actually called Show Off.
Oh, okay.
So, and last year Honey Affleck resurrected it. It hadn't been going for years. And she did a wonderful job. And like I said, brought in a huge amount of cash for us to push us through to the summer. This year we have a different committee, and our president, Neil Hunsley, has divvied up all the committees so that people can try their hand at different areas. So that area went to someone else this year. But you know, it's happening Mother's Day weekend for businesses that want to buy a booth. They're 10 by 10, $350. That'll get you in for the whole weekend. We also have another category for home-based business. They have a smaller booth. I believe it's 6x6, and they're only $150. $150. That's for 3 days. It's the Thursday. No, sorry. We set up on the Thursday, but it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And you get a big crowds.
Yes. Regency Chrysler has been wonderful with us, and they actually rent for the weekend the new arena, the new side. So that side's taken care of for us, and we have the old side. And we have, the LA ladies are doing a pancake breakfast on Mother's Day. They're also running the concession. We have buskers. We have actually our president, Neil Hensley, has 2 grandsons who have qualified both for fiddling championship in Ottawa.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll be busking.
Yeah, I think I've heard of them.
Yeah, they'll be busking outside front, so that'll be drawing attention to the lifestyle show and also helping them out too. So.
And you'll be dancing.
No, actually, we're not having entertainment this year. Last year we had entertainment, and it was divided as to whether that was a good idea or a bad idea, because some of the vendors thought that it was a little too noisy and took away from their business. And
I see.
So what we're trying to do is move it away from the inside and maybe putting it on the outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'd love to see it. You're very famous in Cornwall as a dancer. In conclusion, I just want to say we've talked about this, and we are going to do a regular report on Q today.
I know. I think that's fabulous. So,
we'll
we'll be
talking
updating.
about whether we do it through the phone and hook it in.
We're so high tech, but apparently we can't. But we're going to try. Every 2 weeks, and what I can do is summarize what's happening in and around the Legion. And if you haven't had a chance to read Legion Lines, you can always get a summary on Q Town with Nate Bello.
Q today.
Q today. Ooh, excuse me. In Q Town.
And we're also in Q Town. Right. And we're also on the internet too. QCATV.ca.
All kinds of way to access.
Anything else you want to add?
I just want to say, if anyone else is looking for the lifestyles, we've linked the Legion, not only the lifestyle page, but the Legion website is linked to the City of Quesnel's page now. We spoke with Matt Wood, and they were very gracious, and they gave us a spot. So you can go on there, or you can go on the Chamber of Commerce website's page, and all of them will link you back up with the Legion website, which will in turn link you back up to Lifestyles.
Okay, and what is the website for the Legion? Do you know?
No, I'm not the webmaster.
We'll put her on that. We'll find it. We'll put her on.
Jim Spencer is on our executive, and he's the webmaster.
Well, thanks very much for being with me, and this is
Thank
the
you very
beginning
much.
of good connection with the Legion.
Yes, I hope so.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Sharon. Okay, back to you guys.
And thanks, Nate, for that. We are happy to announce that Sharon will be our regular Legion contributor, and we welcome her to Q today. By the way, after the interview, Sharon mentioned that the Legion is getting into the theatrical presentations. Stay tuned. I'm sure Sharon will give us the details in the future.
I wonder if there's any roles there that we could play in the theater. You, Nate, Alison.
I'm not sure about that, Ron.
I was going to say Three Stooges, but that'd make 4.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, the free income tax for low-income residents has started March the 7th at the Salvation Army on McLean Street. It runs from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. every Wednesday in March and April. So now let's take a look at our community calendar. Not on the community calendar is Voice for North Caribou Seniors. It is a new group that is formed at a meeting today, and their next meeting is April the 19th at 2 o'clock at the Legion Hall. If you want any further information, you can contact the president, Peter Nelson, and/or the vice president, Ron Paul. This group has been recently formed to advocate for seniors, and it's a possibility that our producer, Nate Bello, may have one or both parties in an interview situation coming up in the next little while. So hopefully that'll take place. Mitch.
Wow, lots going on in our city, Ron. Thank you. But are you ready to rumble?
Well, yes and no. My rumblings are not going to be, catastrophic. However, the city is still working on the budget, but so far there's been no attempt to reduce spending. They have increased our utility bills for next year, and the recent increase in travel expenses for councillors and the mayor, for lower lawyer fees if the city may need them, that's been increased. The salary has been increased for the council and the mayor, but nowhere have I seen any attempt to reduce the spending. And if all of this goes through, which it has, there's going to be a 3% increase in our taxes that we are going to have to follow through on. I have no thought for today. Well, that doesn't mean I'm not thinking, but I do have a request. Once again, I want the viewers out there to come to council meetings. Come, sit in, let council know that we are concerned about our tax dollar. We want value for that tax dollar, and we cannot afford to continually have increases. It is time that not only our local government becomes frugal, but also our provincial government. Frugal is a word that all the politicians should look up. That's my rumblings, Mitch.
Thank you.
Do you think it's going to create a complete tsunami?
No, but I agree with your point. We need to engage our citizens. They need to come to council meetings. I agree with you. I attend as many as I can, and I always learn something when I go there.
We certainly do.
Being engaged and being informed is critical.
And it's not only there to be to criticize those that have been elected. It is there to let them know that we are concerned about our community.
Absolutely.
And that we're supporting them in some instances.
Yeah. Well, that's it for this show. You can contact us by our new email, which is qtoday@qcatv.com, to give us some feedback or to give us a tip on any news you think we should check out. Or if you would like to be a sponsor or volunteer, please drop us a line. You can also call Nate Bello at 992-3650 or call the station and leave a message for John McKenzie at 992-8363.
Yes, do that. We're always looking for volunteers. And remember, Q Today is produced by QMAG, Quesnel Media Access Group. And you can also watch us on the internet on Quesnel Community Access TV. The website is www.qcatv.ca and is run by our colleague Eddie D'Souza.
Thanks for watching. Remember, our purpose is to get a conversation going for Quesnel by Quesnel.
Bye for now.